Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. just took place in the main event of UFC 307, Pereira versus Rountree. And this was maybe one of the most nerve-wracking fights I've sat through in a very, very long time. I was on the edge of my seat for the entire thing, nervous, my heart was thumping. Alex Pereira eventually breaks and destroys Khalil Rountree in round 4 in brutal fashion, breaking him down, busting him up, finishing him with body shots, and then an uppercut behind it. Khalil crumples into a heap on the floor, but that's not the story of this fight. It is. There were moments that we're going to talk about from Alex Pereira as well, but the thing about this fight was, I had Alex Pereira winning this with no issue, okay? So you can imagine how terrified I was when Khalil Rountree, the guy who shouldn't have a chance, he lost to Jacoby, he got robbed, he robbed Jacoby for a win, he got schooled by Marcin Prachnio. All of these narratives we had, when this guy comes out in round 1 and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, Pereira's trash. Oh my God, the trash can memes for Alex Pereira are going to be coming out in full force because he took a picture of himself in a trash bag before UFC 307. And I'm like, this is the ultimate meme ammunition. Okay? You can't do this, Pereira. And Khalil comes out in round 1, blitzes across the octagon a few times. And I'm like, he's fast. He's so fast. God, Alex, you need to calm down. Alex was going out there thinking, I'm going to lay one on this guy and sleep him. And then all of a sudden, Alex Pereira's like, oh, hang on a second. This guy's really quick. I better watch myself. And basically, Alex Pereira, I can only say this, takes the whole first round off thinking, there's no way he keeps this up for 5 rounds. There's no chance. Because he's bursting forward every 10, 20 seconds in the fight. Crazy fast with all of his effort. Pereira might have landed a few jabs that round and glancing shots. I think he landed a few glancing head kicks and then landed some good lead leg kicks as well. But Khalil Rountree was pressing forward in round 1, blitzing forward and catching Pereira at the end of some of the punches. And I'm like, oh my God, Pereira's getting caught leaning back. Now he's rolling with the shots and he's moving backwards with the shots. But Khalil was getting in there and landing early. And I thought in the start, first of all, Pereira nearly tripped over during his walkout. And I was like, this is a bad omen. This guy's going to get KO'd. So I'm worried about that. But then I see Khalil and he looks absolutely terrified. But he harnessed all of that nervous energy that he had, I guess, into just a really, really great first round for himself. Blitzing forward, landing at the end of the shots. Has a great round 1. Everyone's confused, but we're like, okay, well, Pereira's going to pick it up. And now let me tell you this. A lot of people will say that Alex Pereira's takeover happened in round 3 onwards. And don't get me wrong, it was 2-0 Khalil Rountree going into the 3rd round. But Alex Pereira's takeover actually started in round 2. Now, in round 2, some big moments happened. This is what I'm talking about, though. I'll never feel this way about a Marab fight, about a Bilal Muhammad fight. Mario Batista, I'll get to you in my event recap. And I'll make a whole video about your whole lot that I just listed. Because I'm sick of that in MMA. Stallers. You lot will never make us as MMA fans feel what Pereira and Rountree just did. Never in your career will you make us feel that. Ever. Because you ain't like them. I'm sick of being gaslit by these hardcore MMA fans saying, wow, MMA fans when the fighters mix the martial arts, am I right? Oliveira's a grappler, Makhachev's a grappler. These guys chase subs. Moicano gets on top of Benoit Saint Denis, devastating ground and pound. These other guys don't chase nothing. They're just stalling out fights in dominant grappling positions or in positions holding people up against a cage. We'll get ahead of it though. Round 2 is where Pereira takes over. He starts landing his jab. Now, I actually said, even though I predicted an earlier first 2 rounds KO for Pereira, I said he's not going to land his jab to the body this fight. That was my prediction. I said he's not going to throw rear low kicks. That was another prediction of mine. He's not going to just throw out his lead hook. Another prediction I made. And I actually got that right. I said the weapon that will be used by Pereira will be his jab and his lead low kick. is what will be used, and maybe a front kick to the body. I don't know if I mentioned that in my video, but I mentioned the lead flicking low kick and the jab is what Pereira needs to do to win this fight, because Khalil is too short and explosive to risk dipping down into a jab to the body on, and he'll be looking for the right hand over the top if he does try that. And Pereira realized very soon in the first round, okay, I'm going to have to simple this up. And in round 2, he's fighting a great round, Pereira. A great round. Khalil lands a few shots, don't get me wrong, keeping Pereira honest. But Pereira's jab's getting home. He's cut open Khalil's nose, which I think he had a cut on coming into the fight, but that might be something that he always has. Cut his nose in round 2 a little bit. Not much to noticeable where it was in the third round towards the end of it, where he really started taking it to another level. But he starts landing his jab on Khalil Rountree, landing his lead low kick a lot as well. And the commentary's going, like, Pereira's having a better round. I'm saying Pereira's having a better round here. And then he misses a head kick. He kept going for these head kicks on Khalil. And actually, he was so short, Khalil, and stocky, that Pereira's head kick was like whiffing over the top of him. Whiffing over the top of Khalil Rountree. So Pereira would throw this head kick, and it'd go right over the top of Khalil's head. And then Khalil's there, standing there, while Pereira's missed this head kick completely over the top of his head. And Khalil cracks him with a right hand. Do I think Alex Pereira was hurt badly by this? Do I think he was wobbled and like knocked unconscious for a moment? No. Do I think he got caught by a shot while he was like squatting basically while missing a head kick on one leg? Yes. And he sunk for a second like, whoa, you know? Popped back up, recalibrated himself, everything was fine. But that was enough to give Khalil the round. And then Khalil even landed a few good shots after that as well. And then Khalil landed a head kick. I'm remembering new things. I can remember everything that happened in a Merab or Belal fight because there ain't a lot to remember because it was nothing. Okay? Landed a flush head kick on Pereira. Pereira took it though. This guy's chin at middleweight is different than it is at light heavyweight. I'm telling you. That weight cut was no good for him, ever. Light heavyweight, he's taken shots now off Yuri, Jan Blachowicz, Khalil with a flush head kick and a punch while he didn't even see it coming and he's squatting on one leg after missing a head kick. Different stuff. Very different stuff at light heavyweight is what his chin's made of. Round 3 turns it up. Close start of the round. Khalil's still in there, blitzing forward, but he's missing a lot now. And I actually said at the middle point of round 3, great start for Pereira. He's landing his jab. He's getting his low kicks off. Khalil's not blitzing forward anymore because the low kicks hurt and also because he's exhausted and you can see it on him. The way Khalil needed to win was to give the effort that he did, but get the KO on Pereira early. That was the style that he fought him with. He knew if he tried to be patient with Pereira and let Pereira build into the fight, he's cooked. And he's going to get slept in the first 2 rounds. So he pushed himself and exerted himself. Even at the end of the first round, he's got his hands on top of the cage like, God, I was exploding every 20 to 30 seconds in that round, blitzing forward. And then round 3, Pereira starts putting it on. Towards the end of round 3, he's landing more glancing head kicks. He abandons them. Starts landing some front kicks to the body. Lead low kicks are landing a lot more. The jab is getting home a lot more as well. And then Khalil really starts to feel it after a stinging shot lands on him in round 3. I think it was a jab that just sort of stuck him in his place and he kind of backed up a bit. And he had held his own before that. Like, he wasn't backing up to shots landing before that. So when that jab landed and Khalil all of a sudden went, oh shit, I'll start getting on my bike a little bit after that one, and kind of stumbled his step a bit, Pereira smelt blood. When Pereira smells blood, guys, this was towards the end of round 3. I'm terrified for him. Terrified for his opponent more. He puts his hands by his waist. And anyone used to have a bionicle when they were younger? Bionicle mode. Hips stay where they are. Twist into it a bit, but his upper shoulders just start rolling these shots. Uppercut, left hook, left hook, uppercut, body shot, right hook, left hook, uppercut. Into these systems of a breakdown that he goes for. And he starts teeing off on Khalil Rountree at the end of round 3 and then lands a big knee to Khalil's face. And all of a sudden, Khalil's nose is busted after those jabs are getting home. And then we're thinking, this is about to be over. Khalil comes out in round 4, holds his ground for a bit, but then Pereira just does what Pereira does and proves why we're allowed to find Belal and Merab boring. I watched it back on Twitter because you can't really take it in live because I'm so nervous. He's popping Khalil with these shots and then popping out, pop out again as Khalil swings back. I swear he made Khalil miss about 10 times in the space of 10 seconds while popping him with about 8 good shots. That's what I counted. Jab, slip out, right hand, slip out, left hook, slip out, body shot, slip, knee, slip, jab, step forward. Khalil's got his hands on his waist. Fuck, I've just been hit fucking 8 times by Alex Pereira. Fair enough, it wasn't like the legendary left hook or the big shots that we've seen Pereira land before, but it definitely were some good stinging shots, and Khalil starts backing up. Pereira's now walking him down, springing back into action in the pocket. He's in elbow range with Khalil Rountree now, which is crazy because he has the reach. He's the rangier guy, but he's in elbow range of Rountree. He starts chewing up his legs again, and he goes in. Body shot, jab. Khalil's not liking it. His eyes swelling shut. Jab. Khalil's still in there a bit. Tracks him down again. Hands by his fucking waist in front of Khalil in elbow range. I can't stress that enough. In elbow range. Hands by his waist. DC even calls it out. Like, this is where Khalil could land, though, because Pereira's doing the thing that he does, where he sees a guy's weak and then just starts going, fuck defense. Head movement only is what he starts doing. And he starts teeing off. Body shots, rare body shots, but knees up the middle were landing. Knees to the body were landing as well. Khalil's breaking down. He's stumbling. He's got his hands on his hips. He's breathing heavy. He's looking over to his corner like this ain't going well. Pereira's still in his face. Jab, stinging him. Straight rights are starting to get through. And he starts doing it. Jab, pull back, jab, slip out the way. Right hand, slip out the way. Body shot, slip out the way. Left hook, slip. Right, left, out the way. Jab, out the way. Jab, 2, out the way. It's a treat to watch. And Marab and Bilal will never do that for us. We'll never see them activate that level of savagery. They're cowards. Like Mario Batista. Again, my event recap, I'll cover him. Poor Aldo. God, let me focus on this. Breaks down Khalil Rountree. Lands a big knee to the face on Khalil. Khalil's hurt badly. He starts tying him up in the clinch. I'm thinking, are we going to get a Johnny Walker elbow situation here? And then he knees him to the body, slows it down a bit, hurts him to the body with the knee, I feel like, which is why he went to the body afterwards, and then starts picking his shots. Khalil's going down. He's swinging back 4 times over, but there's nothing on him anymore. He's a broken man. And then Pereira just goes, yeah, now I'll finish it. Right hook to the body, left hook to the body, right uppercut. Khalil crumples into the canvas. Insane, amazing, cinema. Wonderful stuff. A great end to the card because before that, the card was shockingly bad. Like, we didn't really have any good fights on the card. So I'm guessing that one's going to get fight of the night. I mean, it better do. What else is there on the card that could have got it? I swear to God, if they gave it to Pena Pennington, that's something the UFC will do these days. Fight of the night, Rountree, Pereira. Performance of the night, Buckley. Buckley had a great one. Ryan Spann. Fair play. Yeah. Good stuff. Great to watch. Wicked. In terms of what's next, Alex Pereira said he wants some time to rest. I saw that on an ESPN interview. For every other fighter, that's a year or 2. For Alex Pereira, that could full well mean we'll see him again in March. You know? I want some time to rest, guys. Give me a week or 2 before I announce my next one. You know what I mean? But he's going to take some time. He's going to see what happens in Rakic versus Ankalaev. Probably enjoy Christmas with his family or the holidays with his family. He's got kids, you know, they're going to be off school. So he's probably going to have all of that time. And then we'll probably see, I think, Alex Pereira back again in March or April. You know, we've got February in Australia. Don't see him fighting there. We've got January in, we see Duplessis versus Strickland is apparently on the line there. And Pereira mentioned that in his post-fight speech. He keeps talking about Dricus. And I'm going to say this at the end now. Huge Pereira fan, yeah. Ankalaev fight, if Ankalaev beats Rakic, I get it. Make the fight, has to happen. You know what I mean? Even if Ankalaev looks boring, he's undeniable, you know? And Ankalaev's not really that boring. I know a lot of people call him it by association because his type is extremely fucking boring and lame at fighting. But he's actually quite fun, comparatively. First of all, I think Alex Pereira beats him. Khalil bursts in and out. Yuri, goofy stuff, open to things. Ankalaev, encroaches forward. I think that's really good for Pereira's jab to the body. I think it's really good for his left hook. I think it's really good for his jab with his right hands. Like, fair enough, he could get down Pereira. Does he sub him early? I don't think so. I don't think he finishes Pereira with ground and pound early or a submission. If he does, I'll cry. Low kicks. We saw how Jan Blachowicz was chewing up the legs of Ankalaev. I reckon Pereira could do the same. And, yeah. Ankalaev could win. But the way he encroaches in, that's Pereira teeing off on you, in my opinion. You got to be in or out all the way, like Khalil, and make it tricky for him. Or you've got to be all the way out, like Adesanya. Or Yuri goofies it up and maybe gets him. You know what I mean? Like, there's not many better ways to fight Alex Pereira, it seems. So, yeah. Great win from Alex. Didn't say Tom Aspinall's name, man. None of them say Aspinall's name. And I keep finding myself thinking, like, what an amazing performance. This guy's a savage. I can't wait for the Aspinall fight. I found myself thinking that about Jones. Not amazing performance. This guy's a savage. He's a coward. But, like, when is he going to mention Aspinall? And then they don't do it. Or they mention him and Jones says he don't want to fight him. He's not big enough of a name for me to fight. And he starts talking about a Pereira matchup before Pereira even has beaten Yuri in the rematch. And now, you know who. You know what I mean? Khalil Rountree. And Jones is referencing him before he's even in a position to move up. Doesn't say Aspinall. Never will commit to a fight with Aspinall. Pereira mentions, heavyweight's an option. Can we get Aspinall's name? I know he's dangerous, but that, in my opinion, let's say Rakic beats Ankalaev, which, by the way, might be a decent underdog pick because Rakic's style is really good against Ankalaev. I would go with Ankalaev anyway, but I don't know right now. Maybe I'll switch. You never know. If Rakic beats Ankalaev and there's no legit contender at light heavyweight, we have shit going on at middleweight that we need to figure out. We've got abundance of contenders. It's not a wasteland outside of the championship belt. We've got the winner of Whittaker versus Chimaev. We got, Baralho's right there looking for his opportunity in a title elimination bout. We've got a Mavov right there looking for an opportunity in a title elimination bout. There's stuff going on. We can't hold it up for 6 months. You know what I mean? So, I just want, when Jones inevitably beats Stipe and retires, and both of them are gone, give me Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira. And if it means, Pereira's fighting Ankalaev, Jones retired, Stipe retired, Tom, you'll fight the winner of Gane versus Volkov, and then we'll do the matchup. Then that's what it means, and we'll risk it. That's the next super fight in the UFC. Dangerous, debilitating strikers and grapplers. First of all, I will go Aspinall. After seeing Khalil blitz in and land that much. You can't get hit once by Aspinall, or it's done. Last few fights, his average fight time has been a minute. His average fight time overall is 2 minutes in his whole UFC career. And the Arlovski fight was like 6 minutes long because he fumbled like a first or second minute finish and then took off the round and then got the submission within like the first minute of the second round instead. So I thought maybe Aspinall could get the takedown early and sub him, but now I'm thinking maybe he could blitz in and land as well. He's also open when he does that. So Pereira could land back at heavyweight and chin him. Could easily happen. I want to see that fight, though. That's the fight of this era. That's the end boss battle of the modern day UFC. And that's what I want to see. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Amazing performance by Alex Pereira. He went back to basics. Lead, low kick, jab, teep to the body. It worked for him. Khalil Rountree, ultimate respect. Take time off. I don't want to talk about a matchup yet. I'll try and figure that out tomorrow. A loser of an upcoming matchup is probably what it's going to be because I don't want him to be like, this guy's ready to fight. Khalil, you ready? No. Khalil, I don't want to see Khalil Rountree back in there after that beatdown until April or May, earliest. Late April, early May, I think is when we'll see Khalil Rountree again. Support the hell out of him. Gave us a war, gave us danger, gave us nerves for the fight. It could have been a walkover. And shout out to Khalil Rountree. Tough as nails. Gave it his all. Everyone counted him out, logically, and he defied it. He took a few rounds, took 2 rounds. Good for Khalil. Amazing for Khalil. Don't just ignore him now. Don't forget about Khalil now. Give him something for this. We now have another contender where we're like, oh, Khalil's now the dog in the division, This guy's the fucking champ of the... Well, not a champ, but this guy's a contender to watch out for. This is the contender we rally behind. This doesn't define him as just some, he had his chance and he blew it. Like, no. Rally behind Khalil. Rally behind the Warriors. Fuck Marab. Fuck Batista. And fuck fucking Bilal, dude. Stop gaslighting us into finding that shit fun. This is the shit that's fun. See you later. Goodbye. Toodle pip. See what happens next. I reckon Pereira versus Ankalaev is extremely likely. Toodle pip.